The John Fredericks Media app. Thanks for being with us. Merry Christmas to all. Great to have you with us. Well, you can't have a Thursday before Christmas without one of my favorite congresspeople on the world, DVO, Derrick Van Orden, representing Wisconsin 3. Oh, yeah, the liberals are trying to get him out. The left is trying to get him out. The communists are trying to get him out. He speaks truth to power. That's why they can't stand the guy. Military veteran, takes no BS, tells it like it is, fighter for us in America. And my good friend, Derrick Van Orden. Congressman, thanks for being with us today.
John, Merry Christmas. And that was an amazing introduction. I appreciate that tremendously. How are you doing? You good?
I love you because you are a breath of fresh air. You take no prisoners. You represent the people. You're what, when you think about running for Congress and public service, you're the epitome of that. I mean, you're the kind of guy you want in there, fighting for you every day, that also can relate, talk to people, understands the struggles that people have, and but then has solutions that make sense. It's very difficult to do here in Washington, as you
Right.
know, Derrick. This is crazy town, buddy. We just find out now that the chief of police here was cooking the books on crime for a year and a half, forcing her 7 district commanders, coercing them to reduce the actual crime numbers. The people that live here, they knew they knew these numbers were ridiculous because you live here, and now it all comes out.
Correct.
I don't know why she.
Hey, listen,
family, but it's just
John. Everybody knew that, including my Democrat colleagues who have been lying through their teeth intentionally about the deployment of the National Guard here.
Right.
And so right now, I don't have a car in D.C. I have a motorcycle, right? And I ride it around all the time. And previous to President Trump's bold leadership of putting the National Guard here, everywhere I rode my motorcycle around in D.C., like right across from the Capitol, it smelled like a Bob Marley concert. And people are openly smoking or were smoking weed in their cars as they're driving. I have not seen that since about 2 weeks after the National Guard was deployed here. And so God bless them for doing that. God bless the 2 that were shot, one that was killed and the other soldier that was shot. They're defending our nation's capital, and they should be completely respected for that. And my Democrat colleagues in private, that they will never say this in public, are very thankful that the National Guard is here because they feel safer also. So let's just say it out loud. Thank you, President Trump, for making our work environment here in D.C. safer.
DVO, if you did a secret poll of Washington, D.C. residents in every ward, okay, the National Guard, the approval rating of keeping them would be 85%. If you did a private poll, right? Where they could just...
No, it would be 90.
It would be 90.
It would be 90.
There's not a D.C. resident that I know that, especially the African-American community, that is not in favor of this. They don't want to say it, etc. Ward 8, there's a little reluctant, but everybody, and the people that hate them are the ones coming from Northern Virginia on Metro with masks, and then they go back to their gated community and have wine and cheese. I mean, it is really the absurd.
They're not taking the Metro here. They're driving their $150,000 Land Rovers and parking them, and then going back to the hair salon to get their hair dyed blue again. Right,
covered parking space is what they're doing. I mean, you live here. It's hilarious. The liberals here are hilarious. I mean, it's just because they don't live here. So, and she's cooking the books, and I just want to encourage everybody. I do this. I don't care how much time it takes. If you're walking down the street, if you're in Metro, if you're by a bus stop and you see National Guardsmen, thank them. Everyone, just not a waving thank. I thank every one of them. I shake their hands. I tell them what a difference they're making in our lives, how we're safe, how I can take my wife out to dinner. And now, we don't need a car. She goes on the Metro, the buses, perfectly safe. When we first got here in December, I wouldn't let her go out of the house alone, period, especially after 5.
No.
I mean, you couldn't go to dinner. If dinner was 3 blocks away, we'd have to take Uber. I mean, there's no way I would let her, even with me. I'm a big guy. Walk down this, walk down the street. I mean, the other day I'm on a metro, and there was some guy harassing, some older white lady, and I just went up to the guy. I'm like, hey, stop, okay? I'm a big guy. Knock it off. And the guy went about his business, and she said, "Wow, you ought to be in the National Guard." I'm like, well, thank them when you see them, because everybody's got to help each other. All right, DVO,
Yeah.
a lot to talk about here. Um, Health bill passed yesterday, dead in the water in the Senate without getting rid of the filibuster. Let's start there. No ACA extension. That's gone. What happens now?
Well, that bill lowers premium costs by 11%. So here's the Democrats say one thing, they do another. Their biggest gripe about the problem that they created, by the way, let's remember, 0 Republicans voted for the Unaffordable Care Act. 0 Republicans voted for the American Rescue Plan that actually helped torpedo the country, that had ACA, the Unaffordable Health Care Act, extended premiums with a sunset in there. The Democrats did that to themselves. And then 0 Republicans voted for the Inflation Reduction Act, which actually skyrocketed inflation to 9.1%, with sunsets for these extended provisions. 0 Republicans voted for any of that, all Democrat votes. And the Democrats are trying to blame this on us. That is just, it's absurd. It's ludicrous, but they have the entire media complex behind them, because that's the communications wing for the Democrat Party. They did this to themselves and the country. So that is where we're operating from. And their biggest thing is saying that these premiums are going to skyrocket, which they will, because they screwed up the system. But that bill that Mariette Miller Meeks wrote from Iowa, who's awesome, would lower premium costs by 11%. And so they're saying they need to lower premiums, but they literally voted against lowering premiums again because they want the country to fail. And it's horrible. PBM reform, so their pharmacy benefit managers, that's a middleman between a pharmaceutical company and a pharmacy, essentially. And these people have been making money hand over fist, and they need absolute reform. How do you start reform? Is through transparency. That was in this bill. The reason the Democrats voted against it is because they are funded by big pharma. That's why they did this, for money. It provided more choices for employees to customize their own health care plans, and it codified the 2018 executive order by President Trump that Biden, by the way, pulled out, and that's the CBO estimate was 3.7 million more Americans could get involved in associated health plans, which are less expensive. So I want everyone to understand this. The Democrats are lying through their teeth again. They created this problem. They're blaming it on Republicans. The bill that we passed yesterday would take tremendous strides to fixing everything they're griping about. They will not pass it because they want the country to fail through this system so that they can go to socialized medicine. And God forbid they give President Trump a win that's actually going to help Americans. It's despicable. It's despicable. I don't know how else to describe this. That's what's taking place here in Washington, D.C., everybody.
So
it's really happening.
So you pass this bill. It's dead in the water in the Senate, and it's dead in the water, right? You're not going to get 60 votes, and the Republicans there don't have the courage to scrap the filibuster. For this, they should. But then again, I go back to what I've been saying for some time. What do you tell the 7% of Americans, who are getting a huge health bill increase in January and can't pay it?
You know what I tell them? Vote for a Republican. That's what I tell them. So Democrats are all about griping. We are about solutions. So there is a difference between pointing out a problem and having a solution for the problem. Republicans point out problems all the time, and then we have solutions for them. Democrats point out problems, and then they exacerbate the problem because it's politically advantageous to them. This is a microcosm of why people hate Congress. But the thing is, they need to focus their angst on the party that's responsible for why they hate Congress, and it sure as hell ain't the Republicans. That's just factual, man.
So let's game this out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're a very smart guy, and you and I are always ahead of the curve. Always. Compliment to us both. So here's what the Democrats are going to do. They've already said publicly, right? Their second in command or third in command said when the first shutdown came, we don't care who suffers. It's for the greater good, right? There's going to be some suffering. Too bad. We have to win, right? Okay. Forget her name. You serve with her. She said it. So it's going to go to the Senate. It's going to fail. Healthcare is going to go up. Then January 31st comes. Then the Democrats are going to say, well, you need to negotiate with us. We need to get a 3-year extension because people are suffering. You guys are going to say no. They're going to shut the government down because, see, here's what they figured out. Trump economy starts to boom. We have a pandemic. It crashes. He loses. Yay. Right? I mean, that's what happened, right? Then they figure out Trump economy is doing great, and let's shut the government down for 6 weeks. And let's tank GDP and let's tank jobs. And then we get a bad jobs report and let's slow everything. Let's throw a monkey wrench in the gears, slows everything down. And then his approval rating goes to 37%. He's got to make a speech last night, which we'll get to in a minute. And, we gummed up the system and people suffering, but hey, it's for the greater good. So they're going to do it again because it worked in the fall. They're going to do it again in the spring. What are you guys going to do about that? Because that's what they're going to do.
You just said it's not for the greater good. So it's for their political advantage.
Exactly.
And so that's not the greater good, John. It's very important to understand that.
Because they believe they want to go to a communist state where they tell you what to do. And so if people suffer because of it, to them, it's like bringing the illegals in and your daughter gets raped or killed. To them, collateral damage so we can get power. That's all it is, collateral damage.
Okay. Right. Now, that is accurate, but to me, that's not the greater good.
Okay.
That's neither here nor there. It's semantics. I mean, it is actually to the detriment of the nation.
Yes.
So here's what needs to happen. We need to, and you need to, and your listeners need to, get a hold of our Democrat colleagues, which I talk to all the time. I've had some very, very interesting conversations lately with some people that you would think I wouldn't even be in the same room with. And I won't mention them, but the reason I won't is because I want to continue to have these conversations with my Democrat colleagues. But the American people have to reach out to the Democrat Party and the folks that they have elected and express to them that they're sick and tired of them putting politics over people. And that's what's going to change this equation. The reason that President Trump got reelected is because people saw how bad the Biden administration was and the destructive nature of these folks that are moving our country towards socialism. That's why he got reelected, because people are like, wait, it was really good under Trump. It was horrible under Biden. Let's get Trump back in. But unfortunately, the collective memory of the American people is kind of short, and they need to just think back, 15 months and go, oh my gosh, this was horrible. That's what's going to change this equation. It's going to have to be a grassroots effort. We'll do our part up here, working as hard as we can to get things done, to set the conditions for American citizens to thrive. That's what the government should be doing. It shouldn't be dictating things to American citizens, what they can and cannot do. We set conditions for a level playing field here in the country and internationally with trade and that sort of stuff. But it's going to have to be an all-hands-on-deck effort by the American people themselves to put pressure on these Democrats. That's why, John, they changed their entire message from, we need to castrate children to affordability. That's why they did that. I mean, seriously, think about their messaging during the campaign. First, Donald Trump and half of the country are, racist Nazis, and let's castrate children, to we need affordability. They did that for political power, not to help the American people. And when the average American, just kind of working, slugging it out, which is awesome. My whole district are just like people working hard for their families. when they start paying attention to why people change their messaging, and it's not for their betterment, meaning the American public, it's for the political power of the individual saying that. Like, I haven't changed my message at all. Like, I haven't, because I really mean what I say. I don't say anything for political advantage. I say stuff because I mean it. And when people start to look at that and they see across the board that the Democrats have been doing this now for years, it's going to change. But it's going to take time. That's it, man. I mean, that's in a nutshell. That's the secret to life. There you go. Merry Christmas.
Derrick Van Orden, Republican, Wisconsin 3. We call him DVO.
Yeah.
So, again, what is going to happen here? They're going to shut the government down again. The only answer, like I was on a show last night after the speech, which I'll get to in a minute. So we need to extend this a little bit, Tyler.
Sure.
So I was on a show last night, and the host, I was on War Room with Steve Bannon, and Steve asked me, it was like 10:30 at night, and he asked me, he said, "Well, what can we do now? Like, what do you think? What can we do? What do you think has to get done?" And now I'm like, there's only one answer in the short term, and that's the Republicans in the Senate have got to get rid of the filibuster, because if they don't, they can't pass anything. They can't get this health bill through. They can't do anything. And as soon as the Democrats take power, because we don't do anything, which is why they're going to get power, they'll get rid of the filibuster at 5:00, the day they get sworn in. How do we get? I don't see any other short-term answer. Do you?
Well, here's the problem, John, is that in politics, we think of short-term answers. We don't take the long view. I mean, the Founding Fathers put the filibuster in place for a very specific reason. It's so that you could not pass laws at lightning speed. Because if you could pass laws at lightning speed, everything is going to be illegal in 2 weeks. That's the issue. So it is really a very deeply philosophical thing, talking about self-governance. If you have a group of people that can just willy-nilly, if the party in charge of all three houses can do whatever they want without any type of check and balance, you literally have no check and balance. I mean, it's kind of baked into the cake. Now, here's the other thing. That's one side of the argument. What you're discussing, and which I agree with, is that we're dealing with people in power in the Democrat Party that I don't think our founding fathers ever presumed that you would have a group of people that just want power. That's why we broke away from England. That's why all of these checks and balances are put in place by the founding fathers. I don't think they thought that a party would get so far off center from the original intention of the Constitution. I just don't think they thought of that. So can you get rid of the filibuster? Of course you can. Should you? I'm still really on the fence about this, but I understand that we operate under a system of rules that the Democrat parties just don't. We're trying to govern, as I said earlier, to set conditions for Americans to thrive, and they are trying to rule. So we try to govern. They want to rule. We don't want to do that. Which I thought that the No Kings thing was just, it's so absurd on its face, because the Democrats are trying to rule the American public, and we're trying to govern. So more to follow on that. I got to talk to some more folks about it, but I will not say that I want to get rid of the filibuster now. I will say that we need to get this agenda going forward, or we're going to head into ruin. So it's not a conundrum. A conundrum is a problem without an equitable solution, but it's something that I need to ruminate on more, honestly.
All right, let me get to this. I got 2 minutes left. Reaction to President Trump's address to the nation last night.
I love President Trump, and I think he's spot on. I don't know why people are griping. So I went to this classified brief yesterday, presented by our SOCOM commander, Admiral Bradley, and without delving into details, I'm going to say this thing. I'm so proud of that guy. He made me proud to be a SEAL again. He did. So the fortitude that man showed is commendable. And for a senior enlisted guy to comment or to compliment an admiral, that means something right there, buddy. I'll just tell you. So that was also, it was disgraceful how my Democrat colleagues addressed this man and what he was doing. So absolutely disgraceful, and for a couple members, despicable what they were saying to this admiral. It was shocking. And when you have members of Congress that are trying to instill uncertainty in the minds of our active duty service members, they don't belong here. And some of them are getting very close to, if they have not crossed the line, to actual sedition. And people need to pay attention to that. When you're trying to effectuate policy changes by having the military, active duty military folks, disobey lawful orders, that is actually sedition. And so they need to check themselves before they wreck themselves, because it ain't about them. It's about the country. And we need to give our military members as much support as we possibly can. And I told this to the Admiral yesterday. I said, look, I don't want you to have a millisecond hesitancy in order for you to effectuate the orders that you're given, because they're lawful. And that's what these people are trying to do. Make our military members second-guess lawful orders. And that leads to destruction. And I'll just say this, and I know you got to go. If we spent as much time, there's 11 people killed in the first attack. Imagine if we spent as much time discussing killing 11 Nazis as we did talking about killing the people that are responsible for killing 50,000 Americans every year. Imagine, this interview would be in German if we did that. There you go. That's it.
I know you can't give us the details of your
I will not.
Of your classified briefing, but can you give me the name of the worst perpetrator of?
No, I will not. But I will tell you this. I watched that whole thing, and everything I've been saying from the beginning was true. 100% lawful. And the right thing to do for America. So in the military, this is what a lot of people don't understand, John. In the military, we don't shoot at people, we shoot them. And we kill every single person that is trying to kill American citizens. Republican, Democrat, Independent, gay, straight, but I don't care. If you are trying to kill an American citizen, we will find you and we will kill you. That's it. There is no, that's binary. And a lot of people aren't suited to that, and that's fine. Let the men and women who are suited to that do their jobs.
We're out of time. DVO. Great quote. Told Admiral Bradley, you made me proud to be a SEAL again. I got that written down. I'm going to title this segment.
You did, dude.
If you don't mind. Listen, what people want to follow you. You're running for re-election. They're trying to oust you.
Correct.
They're trying to get rid of you. You're the number one target. They hate your guts.
I know, it's great.
Truth to power. I get it. Where do people go?
Yeah. VanOrdenForCongress.com. So I would appreciate that. I think it's going to be all in this race, probably $50 million.
Jesus.
Because these folks, I know, you know what? They hate me. You know why? Because I tell the truth. And they don't want that up here. They just don't.
$50 million in a congressional seat in Wisconsin.
Southwestern Wisconsin.
Jeez.
Yeah, all in.
I mean, we are just, I don't know.
It was $30 million last
Where are they
race.
getting this money? I mean, it's just.
Where are they getting this money? They used to be getting it from USAID. That's
DVO, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Your family, my best to your wife. I hope she's better and doing better.
Yeah, we're working on it. Thank you for that.
Good, dude.
I appreciate it.
Thinking about her. You hang
Right
in
on.
there. I'll see you
Yes,
after
sir.
Christmas. You have a great holiday with your family.
You shall see me after Christmas, and God bless you and your listeners, John. Thank you for your work.
Thank you, Derrick Van Orden.